Hello, everyone. This is Carlos in Mexico City at Nearsoft, and I'm here to welcome you to one more episode of DojoLIVE, connecting experts like you. And joining me today from Los Angeles is, as ever, my fellow teammate, Nearsoftian Tulio Ziragusa, our chief strategist, rocking away from Los Angeles. Hi, Tulio.
Hey, good afternoon. It's good to be here again. Let's have some fun.
Oh, absolutely. Let's, please, by all means. And of course, last but not least, we also have my fellow teammate, another great Nearsoftian and engineer, Mariel Navarro, in our Chihuahua office, joining us from there. Hi, Mariel. It's a pleasure to have you here and an honor. Welcome to the
guys.
show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mariel, for joining us today. And, well, I definitely have to introduce our featured guests of today. We're going to be having a conversation with Tasneem. She is the CIO. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you are the CIO of Connected Canadians, and she's going to tell us all about Connected Canadians and what it is. And of course, we also have Emily Jones joining us. Right? Did I pronounce it correctly, Emily? I think I did. Right? Cool. Okay, and she is the CEO for Connected Canadians, right? And so we're going to be chatting with Taz and with Emily. And first of all, before we continue, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure. Okay, well, the usual is that we ask our guests just to start off this conversation by telling us about you. So tell us about you, Taz and Emily. About you, about where you come from, what your background is, and then, of course, tell us about Connected Canadians, and then we'll move on to the chosen topic. Welcome to the show. The camera is already all yours. The mic's all yours.
All right. So my name's Emily, and my background is in computer science. I did my undergrad in computer science, worked briefly as a developer, learned very early on that I liked working with and managing people a lot more than I liked coding, moved to management, and amongst other things, found myself volunteering at a nonprofit in Milan, helping seniors start an NGO, and helping them, actually going back a little bit more to my tech roots, helping them with everything technology related there. So that was one of my ways that that spawned the beginning of Connected Canadians, and also just because of my technology background, I always had seniors in my life who kind of reached out to me for help, and as that just sort of was a natural thing for me.
Excellent. Thank you. And Taz?
I'm Tasneem. I am actually almost kind of a recent immigrant to Canada. I grew up in Middle East, and I came to Carleton, one of the top universities in Canada, to do computer mathematics. I am a hardcore nerd and a sci-fi fan, and I have been for the last 15 years working in the tech industry. Started as a software developer, now moved up to a technical architect. For the last 5-6 years, I've been consulting for McDonald's as their principal architect. So, I'm loving it. Mobile app, all of that work kind of, I was one of the brainchild of that. And I also teach part-time at Algonquin, just like Emily.
Yes, that's right. I forgot to mention I also teach management at a business college in Ottawa, and currently I work at a software company that creates case management software. I'm a delivery manager there, managing a team of about 14 people currently.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you both for your introduction. Now, if you care to tell us a little bit about Connected Canadians, please.
For sure. So Connected Canadians was something that Taz and I came up with because both of us worked at another software company previously, and we used to go for a lot of walks together, and we talked about what we did in our spare time. And both of us realized that in the circle of people that we knew, we didn't know a lot of people that enjoyed helping people in the same way that we did, even to the extent of taking paid time off to go volunteer. And we thought, hey, we finally found someone else who thinks like us. Let's start an organization. And what should we start? So we talked about it for a little while, and I'll let Taz jump in here.
Yeah, so we were out meeting at our university that both of us went to, and we were walking in the tunnels, and we were just venting at our general frustration around technology and understanding technology and the gaps. And I think it was kind of combination of our synergies. We thought, you know, we need to have something more scalable because there is definitely a need. I'm not sure, I can't speak for all the countries, but definitely in Canada, quarter of our population is, you know, soon entering the seniors rank, and the technology, I mean, it's as old as me, in all honesty, and it's changing leaps and bounds, and the gaps in digital literacy exist. I can see the difference between me and my 3-year-old already, and so we decided to create Connected Canadians to kind of fill that gap last year.
Right.
Cool.
So yeah, we just wanted to figure out a way that we could make a structure that would help more people than just me and Taz individually going around and helping our friends and neighbors.
Very cool.
That's pretty cool. I have a question. Like, this whole idea behind Connected Canadians, was you born because you had like it was something personal, like you had someone around you who you wanted to help, or was it like in general, like you guys saw this need around you?
Yeah, I would say both. I mean, I've been helping seniors in my life for at least 18, 20 years, something like that. And beyond that, I think we just saw the need. Like we would be places in public and we'd see people needing help and not having anyone to go to. So,
and for me, it was a little bit more than, you know, there are services that are available to help people out, but there's a difference between knowing enough to give the right answer and then helping them out at that level. I worked actually as a tech support too when I was in university for Dell. And, you know, I kind of know how the support and the teaching part works. In order to kind of fix the problem or to help out, you have to make sure that, you know, you speak to their level, that you make sure that by the end of the session that they are actually empowered to make the right choices, to be able to, you know, feel confident in trying to take that picture, to do that video session, to open that bank account. And so I think that was kind of another inspiration. We just didn't see the same quality of service, and we do it as part of our nonprofit. All of our services are free for seniors. And so one of the things that we mentioned is, you know, you see all of these adverts, pay us $70 and we'll teach you about phishing scams, and you're bombarded by that message. And for a person who's not technical, I mean, you know, is that real? Is that fake? Is that a phishing scam in itself?
Yeah,
so,
I would have several of my senior friends would get these threatening phone calls of, you know, the virus on their computer that they needed to pay that person $200 to fix, and they would call me in a panic. And you know, we felt like there's so much bad out there. We wanted to be the good to counteract that.
My favorite scam is when they call you and they're impersonating a federal agent about your IRS bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or in Canada, must be something else, and I simply just say,
yeah,
your mother. I simply just say your mother must be so proud that you're making these calls.
Never heard of that video.
You never heard of that? That's
no,
like
no,
the
no.
thing.
Is that for real?
Yeah, for real.
Ooh.
I'm just a federal agent. You owe taxes. We can straighten that out right now. And I just say, your mom must be so proud of you for making these calls because it's a total scam. So so there's definitely, what I'm saying is there's definitely an element of, if you're not tech savvy or aware of what's going on, you can be taken advantage of, right? And especially someone who's a bit more elderly, who's not aware of these things, that would normally perceive it as, this got to be real, because back in the day, if I got a phone call, it was legitimate. So what are you offering? What's the charter? What's the mission? Is it all about training and using technology, or does it go beyond that?
So coming from software industry, you know, we were trying to play really agile. We're trying to work with our community to kind of offer and create programs based on the needs. Every community is different. We have a lot of diversity in Canada. We have immigrants, refugees, multiple ethnicities. coming through. And so the two programs that we offered quite successfully last year were our digital workshops, and then we had one-on-one sessions. And so digital workshops were basically all focused towards privacy, safety, connection, inclusion. And then one-on-one sessions are then scheduled based on, whatever the need be, anything from helping out with the wireless printers to, I've got my online banking locked up. Can you point me to the right resources that I can call and kind of hook up and connect from that standpoint? Pretty early on, we decided that we want to, our differentiator is that we are using tech volunteers, including ourselves, who are rooted in technology. They have enough background to be able to give the right answer and without using any scare tactics or deferring to different things. And we've had quite a good success with that.
Yeah, I mean, we try to pick volunteers. We know that no one knows everything, and having helped a lot of elderly people in our lives, we know a lot of the stuff you have to learn in the moment, and by being able to Google things and figure stuff out on the fly. But by being able to find people who are naturally curious and helpful, we've been able to build a really kind, caring team of volunteers.
Yeah, so perfecting the craft of pairing the right volunteer or the right tech help with the right senior, and I think that's where the magic sauce is.
That's pretty cool. Speaking a little bit more about how it actually works. Do you guys have any restrictions, for example, like the age? Let's say that I'm 40 years old and I don't feel comfortable with my digital skills. Can I still enroll, or is there age restriction? Or maybe I should be the owner of laptop, or what should I have?
So we definitely help anyone who needs our help. The thing is about Canada in particular, we have a whole lot of support for young people and youth, particularly in STEM fields. And that was one of the reasons we wanted to pick older people, because we felt there wasn't similar coverage for older ages. So while we are open to helping anybody of any age, we chose to specialize on seniors and older people in general, just because there's enough coverage for youth already. In our opinion, we didn't need to add another organization to that big.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of the sessions, of the actual work that you guys do, is it like live sessions or through the phone sessions, or you have like group sessions? How does that work?
So we do both. We're starting. We primarily focus on live sessions at present because one of the underlying things that we like to emphasize is the human connection part of things, because we realize that a lot of seniors are quite isolated, and especially the ones who don't have a lot of family members close by. It's really nice for them to have a volunteer to meet up with in person, to sit with them and explain how things work, rather than just a phone call. So we do try to make things in person as much as possible. However, we've also realized that due to mobility issues or remote locations, we aren't able to reach as many people as we'd like live. So for that reason, we're also piloting remote programs right now too, where we provide online tech support using Skype or Slack, or whatever else that they may need, perhaps even TeamViewer, depending on the client.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like, you're expanding the channels that you guys are using. Yeah. So far, there are three things that have caught my attention. First off, you said this is a non-profit organization. Second thing that I just noticed is, it's kind of weird, but my work is a social network. Like, the first time I saw the name of the company, Connected Canadians, it sounded to me like a social network. Then I started like reading about it, and I'm like, no, it's not like a social network. But now that I'm talking to you, it definitely is, because you're helping people connect. Another thing that gets my attention is that you're helping people with their digital education. Like, that's pretty cool. I wish back here in Mexico there was something like that. You guys promote free technology training and support, but let's face it, there should be costs for everything. So, well, a part of it, you said that you have volunteers. Do you have any other thing to help you guys support this? like sponsors or something?
So
at present, yeah, Taz and I both, we support Connected Canadians with our full-time jobs at present. So
you are the sponsors at the moment.
we are the sponsors of Connected Canadians at present, but obviously that's not sustainable long-term. So we are certainly searching for donors and sponsors to help us with our growth, because we, you know, we can only do a limited amount with the funds that we're able to give from our jobs.
Yeah, so something that's interesting in Canada is we actually have a Minister of Seniors. So we know that the fact that our population trends are changing is, you know, it's getting a lot of attention, and it is an important topic, an important forum. So we are not the only ones who realize the importance of it. In terms of our volunteers and all of our work, as we mentioned before, we're trying to build, you know, nice, sustainable programs, and we've got some really good collaborations going with amazing partners like
Facebook and
Facebook.
Yeah, we had our launch party in November, and Facebook very kindly sponsored us for our launch party, which we were quite thrilled about. And
Pretty cool.
yeah, and now Lyft is sponsoring us for the month of March. So that's not been officially announced yet.
And we're collaborating with a lot of other interesting groups that are doing at home aging. So we're collaborating with them on various projects to basically still provide that gap of digital literacy, because I think it's a bit of a misnomer. Everyone thinks that there's just a 10-year age group or a 15-year age group where seniors, you know, are missing some of the exposure to technology. But technology is changing leaps and bounds. My son, who's 3, programs with little IoT devices with me, and he has this little Mr. Something, and his comfort level with technology is very different than mine. So I'm pretty sure that in you know 20, 30 years when I retire, I might not feel the same gap as the current seniors, but the gaps will still be there, because one of the things that we feel very strongly about is that, you know, we are moving everything from physical presence to technology to digital, and so our community trends should translate similarly in online communities too. We should have equal presence of seniors, because we're voting online, we're shopping online, we're buying online, we're, you know, reviewing online from that standpoint.
We just have a voice as well.
So just to add on to the comment that Marielle alluded to earlier, there's some countries where seniors are having to work way later than the retirement age, right? And worldwide, and they're lacking the skills that are needed. Is there a plan to go above and beyond Canada? I mean, is that part of the route for the future?
We recently had our first remote volunteer join us from Brazil. We have a graphic designer who's working with us remotely from Brazil. So I certainly think there is the possibility to deliver remote support, you know, wherever there's internet. So we would need to build the infrastructure to support that. I'd certainly love to get there. When we can.
Yeah, and we are. It's interesting you brought up the, you know, seniors having to work sometimes post-retirement or delay their retirement. We're actually starting to collaborate with a senior-oriented organization called Top 60 Over 60, and their focus is actually just that, to help you know, budding entrepreneurs or recent retirees or seniors with their with that digital literacy gap, so that they can.
Yeah, they're more focused on just giving seniors the encouragement they need to start a new business, sort of exclusive of the digital literacy portion. And however, they noticed in their studies by helping and studying seniors who recently retired that there was a big gap in that, and that was one of the most limiting factors, was the lack of digital literacy amongst that cohort of retirees.
Yeah, I think you definitely have a potential opportunity for companies that have committed to that kind of inclusion and diversity, which includes seniors. I know at least here in the U.S. there's initiatives around that. I'm sure there's the same with a Minister of Seniors in Canada. Wonder if some of those companies could license what you're doing like a platform, right? Then you have sponsors built in and you get a much broader reach. Is that something you guys have considered or have talked about?
Potentially. I mean, fundamentally, we really want to make sure that the services are free of charge to the seniors. So if we can find sponsorships that help us support our operational costs and the rest of the things, then yeah, like.
Yeah, so speaking of which, actually, this project was brainchild of Emily. She came up with a really interesting idea. In Ottawa, because this is the capital, the tech sector is almost, the same percentage of GDP as the government work. So we have lots of startup scenes in Ottawa, a huge focus on technology. And so we came up with an idea where we can take volunteers or employees using their volunteer time to help the seniors in a community across the street.
Yeah. So, but we typically we've started a pilot project with the software company that I work at, because they had 2 volunteer days per year that nobody was really using, and we thought we'd have this company full of lovely people, very sweet software developers and QA testers and all kinds of people with lots of skills that they could share. And we've got a retirement home across the street full of somewhat lonely seniors in need of help. And if we can pair up 2 groups of people on a regular basis, we can build relationships between the volunteers and the seniors can learn more technical skills and also sort of have that human interaction portion of things as well.
How's adoption coming along? What do you need more of? Volunteers? What do you need?
We have so many volunteers, it's crazy. I can't even put
Today it's social media Be Likeable Day. If you guys heard of that today, it's called Be Likeable Day. I was like, that's an interesting day where you're supposed to do random act of kindness today. So, how do we get more people on board here? What do you need?
I think when we talk about connecting seniors with volunteers, the largest thing is around building capacity and infrastructure. So Ottawa, or in Canada in general, we have, dense populations of people, and then they are dispersed in other suburbs or subdivisions. And there's transportation cost of getting a senior connected, getting a senior out of their house or a volunteer to that senior location. And so stuff around infrastructure, whether it be the transportation costs or just hardware that's needed. Sometimes you actually need backup devices, you need hotspots, you need cables. So those sort of like basic things that you don't think about play a huge factor in building enough capacity from that standpoint. We've been lucky enough. Emily is amazing in social media management, content writing, and she's also a technologist at heart. And I'm a nerd with coding background. So we have been able to kind of come up with a lot of unique solutions for problems at kind of a shoestring budget. But I think that in order to have that sustainability and that coverage for offering the same quality of service, I think that there are certain things in infrastructure that are required to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's identify some companies that could help you. So Uber, Lyft, if you're listening, some seniors need some free rides, step up, offer it up, do something.
They're sponsoring us for the month of March.
What else do you guys need? What else would be of service? Other companies that could be listening, saying, you know what, I want to participate. What else? I feel like I'm doing a marathon for raising funds here. But I think it tells the story.
Just turn into Jerry Lewis.
We really actually need, we would love to have better insurance coverage, because right now, the thing I struggle with the most is we have seniors with mobility issues who can't leave their houses calling us, and because we don't have very comprehensive insurance right now, we don't let our volunteers enter people's houses because it's not,
it's a liability
and all of that. So we limit all of our meetings to public places like coffee shops and things like that. So if we had more money for things like that, we would be able to go and help seniors in their homes, and it would be so much more useful, because the people who are in wheelchairs or looking after their ailing spouses, excuse me, would be able to get that one-on-one help as well.
Yeah, and then we've been covering seniors from all socioeconomic backgrounds, and so being able to have more or less recent smart devices would definitely help a lot in terms of bringing them all into the fold. We have spoken to a few organizations that talk about technology upcycling. The only issue is that technology hardware is also changing leaps and bounds. And so while for a young person, it's fine to recycle a laptop, for a senior, having a smartphone that is at least somewhat up to date is what is more important, because it's small, it's nimble, it's more secure.
Yeah, and the accessibility features too. I mean,
Exactly.
a lot of the time they have difficulty reading the screen or things like that. And if you get the really old small devices, it's quite hard for them. So if we had the ability to give our seniors better devices, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, and so we've been thinking about interesting ideas. All the organizations are moving towards, bring your own device or leasing. So we've been thinking about maybe some environmental aspects included, maybe a leasing option or something where we can make sure that, they don't have to fiddle with buggy issues of old devices that have broken Wi-Fi connectors or adapters or that sort of stuff.
Great. Just when it starts to get interesting, the time always comes up, which is sad. But Marielle, I know you have some additional questions you wanted to.
I have one.
This is a great topic.
Question.
I hope you guys get a lot of help and support. We're certainly going to do our job, make sure you get exposure. Marielle, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have a final question. It really gets my attention that CIO and CEO are so involved into this. Both of you guys said that you are volunteers for the Connected Canadians program. Were you volunteers like from day one, and how that has helped you to like really understand the needs of the people you're helping?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of our primary things, was that we believe it's really hard to understand and manage people doing the work if we're not doing it ourselves. So we were the first 2 volunteers doing the workshops, doing all the one-on-ones, until we brought on our first volunteer about, 7 months in, something like that. And it's just been expanding hugely since then.
Yeah, we spend about over 200 hours per month of volunteer time trying to offer our current operational programs.
Between us and our volunteers who help us.
Okay, so you guys definitely need some help. Where do people go to sign up to volunteer? Where do they sign? How does that happen?
If you go to www.connectedcanadians.ca, you can see where you can sign up to volunteer. You can see our donate page. You can see our testimonials page, which has got lots of our videos of our clients that we help. So definitely check that out. Connectedcanadians.ca is our website.
.ca.
Cool. Well, I think this is pretty much it. Thank you very much, guys, for being with us. Just one final thing. Are you present on any social networks so our viewers can get to know you a little bit better?
Check us out on LinkedIn at Connected Canadians. We're also on Facebook as Connected Canadians, and we're also on Instagram as Connected Canadians. We're a little bit less active on Twitter, but we're on there too. I think it's Connected CBNS on Twitter, but the rest of them are all the full word Connected Canadians.
We'll make sure we put that on the landing page, including your personal handle, so people can reach out to you and connect with you as well. So if someone trying to figure it out, just check back shortly on DojoLIVE and they'll find that too. Yeah, any final words of wisdom for anyone who's thinking about giving back like this? What would those be?
Just we appreciate everything that comes in. And people's time is so valuable to us. We respect it and are so grateful to. We've just had the most wonderful, kind people give us their time, and it's really the most valuable thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Volunteering and working with them.
Well, Emily and Tass, as Julio says, unfortunately we ran out of time, and the only thing left for me personally to do is simply thank you big time, because I think what you're doing is definitely worth getting out there. And as Tulio says, I hope you get all the help you can get, and we're also going to do our part in that sense. So again, thank you so much for having been with us today. And again, Tulio, thank you as ever, and of course Marielle for having joined us today as co-host.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
And for those of you who are listening and watching, remember that all the information for Connected Canadians is going to be right there on the DojoLIVE website. Just check us out, and it's going to be right there on the interview section. all the info is going to be there in case you want to get in touch with either Taz or Emily from Connected Canadians. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time, next week, right here, Wednesdays on Dojo Live, 1 p.m. Pacific. And remember, connecting experts like you. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you.